Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Lately, I reached a conclusion in a proportion of about 98%, and that is the guys in charge of us, of the West, I think they would like to have another European slaughter, which is another war, active, hot war, conventional war, they hope, in Europe, like the First World War, Second World War. This is my latest assessment. These guys will get us in a hot war with Russia in Europe. You say, hey, Emil, are you crazy? Well, let me show you two things. One, I made this video, not necessarily that this proves anything, but this is where I made my case. In this video, on the 21st of April 2024, I said US plus European Union plus Russia will be in a hot conventional war, they think, the guys in the West. The West is maneuvered, by whom, to destroy itself again, like we were maneuvered 2 times. And here on the thumbnail I said, who maneuvers the West to self-destruction? Again? Now, it doesn't mean that that's, 100% bulletproof. This is where I made the case. We are heading towards that, and there are some crazy guys over there who, for some interests, they think they can have a controlled war more than the control it is right now in Ukraine, in Europe, using the Romanians, the Poles, the Baltic states first. Like they use the Ukrainians now. They stay over, and then after they have their, the men depleted, they're going to import some men from other continents to take care of the European nations. Okay, now, provide a poor standard of living, people are afraid to have kids. They can't, how should I put it, replace, and then they go below the replacement level, which is 2.1, I think. Therefore, they have to import people to impregnate so we can have, but where from? They will tell us from. Now, that's one. And it doesn't mean if someone confirms your assessment, like this one, it doesn't mean that someone agrees with you. Necessarily, that is, again, yeah, Emil, you're right. There are a lot of dumbasses who agree with the US government and with the let's say mainstream media, the corporate media. It doesn't mean they're right. No, it's just that those guys are stupid. So I'm not playing their thing. Oh, look at this guy, which gets me to today's article. Look at this guy. He claims the same thing. Therefore, Emil is right. No, but because it comes from this guy and whatever he says here, it reinforces my assessment in my cuckoo head, okay? And maybe it helps you reinforce your assessment of what the hell is going on and where those imbeciles right here maneuver us in. So let's read this little article coming from Sputnik. It is from 6 hours ago, today, May 3rd, 2024. EU, European Union leaders, the guys in charge, talking about, and I'm quoting, war in Europe, shows their real intentions. So in this video here, I was making the point that they are just getting the baboons ready, and us as well, they think, getting us ready, used to the idea that we are going to defend ourselves because the Russians will aggressively conduct an offensive over our way of life, our values, the European values. Some Paganini for you. Okay? This is how they are pushing this narrative. So when the time comes, the baboons will be ready, like a steak. Before you put a steak on the grill, what do? You either marinate it, maybe you put some seasoning, some salt, a lot of fucking salt, maybe you heat it here, tenderize it, whatever you call it, and then steak. And then you put it on the grill. Now that's when we are going to go to war. On the grill. When we're going to be put on the grill, we'll be ready, already seasoned, marinated, fucked to the core. All right? Some people might enjoy my terms here. All right, so let's see. So this is what I said. So leaders talking about war in Europe shows their real intentions, Orban said. Now it doesn't mean for people, oh, that's evidence. For me, it's, as I said, reinforcement of whatever I said and what I think. EU leaders talking about a war in Europe and quote shows their real intentions, but they are playing with fire. What did I say? Didn't I say that again? I said that the French are playing with fire. That was a video I made yesterday. Let's see, fire. Russian fire. Russian fire. All right, so let's see. Oh, Jesus Christ. No. There you go. So I said this one in this video. And it was, I think I posted it yesterday, when Macron thinks that he's going to challenge. Macron, the president of France, thinks that he's going to challenge Russia, but he takes his troops out of Africa. Yeah, okay. Why? Here's the article, the video I made. Macron plays with Russian fire. Russia could send troops to France as France could send troops to Ukraine, or send to Ukraine and have more room here. So here you have this one, and here you have the same guy here, because I spoke with Mr. Prime Minister Orban, playing with fire, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban said on Friday. In an interview with the Kossuth, a radio broadcaster, the official recalled the recent statement by EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell, an appointed bureaucrat, Spanish politician. He's appointed. That the spread of war in Europe is no longer a fantasy. And the words of Polish Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorski, that the conflict has no diplomatic solution and it can only be resolved by military force. Really? I think that there are a lot of diplomatic solutions out there that you are not willing to take into consideration. I mean, and it's very, very ridiculous, I don't know, that it comes from the Polish foreign minister saying there's nothing else. No, there's not. No, so he ignores another reality, another possibility. Why? Because they want war. And that gets me, that's why I think it's very, I can find a word, not ridiculous, it's a different word. Pathetic, but that's not it. I'm going to find it by the end of this video, maybe. The Poles did the same thing with the evil Nazis. They didn't see any negotiations, anything but no, we're not going to create a Danzig corridor. That was their statement. There's nothing. You can't take it. But we're going to negotiate with you. We're going to negotiate with you. So the Poles negotiated in bad will, ill will, how you call that? Bad faith. That's how we call it, bad faith. And they said, why? Because the guys across the French channel, I mean the English channel, the Brits and the French had an alliance and promised the Poles, if the evil capitalist Nazis will invade you, the communists can invade you, we're not going to intervene. When the Nazis, the capitalist Nazis will attack you, we're going to attack them, and therefore we're going to start the Second World War. Not one country against one country, there's not a world war. 3 countries against 1 country is a world war. Or could, spread. So makes you think when the Brits and the French declared war to Nazi Germany, the Brits immediately, the French were like, man, no, it's impossible, no, we don't want to do this. Well, you have to. So they did after about 48 hours at the United Kingdom's pressure. They pressured the French to declare war based on those agreements. So nevertheless, when they did that, they declared war against the capitalist evil Nazis. But when the Soviets, the communists, the evil, but who was in charge of Soviet Union? So they did not declare war. Why? It was state of the only if Germany destroys you. If Soviet Union destroys you, that's A-okay. So the same thing, these guys here, this Sikorski, the foreign minister of Poland, he doesn't see any solution but one. The same thing they did in before, September 1st, 1939. They didn't see only one solution. We're not going to give you anything with Danzig or Gdansk. Nothing. What happened? Those guys showed their real evilness. I'm talking about the Nazis. Hey, the communists were the Katyn forest massacre It was blamed on the Germans, even though they knew it was the Soviet commissars. Who were the Soviet commissars? Go and check them out. You have the names. The names are over there, mother. The names are over there. So let's go back to this article. And I'm quoting, "These are not communication bubbles, but the implementation of real political intentions and reflections. Europe is playing with fire at this moment. We are balancing on the edge of war and peace," Orban said. Tolstoy? Is that what it is? War and peace? All right, my friends. It doesn't mean that because Orban said so, it is so. But I think he's just observing, noticing the obvious, which is the emperor has no clothes. In this case, these guys are planning. These guys are planning and are playing with your hands, not their hands, not their hands. When they're gonna be blown up by the evil Russians, okay? Where they're gonna, if that happens, because the Russians will not hold back. These guys will be in deep bunkers or maybe across the Atlantic, okay? But you will be over there in Paris, Toulouse, Berlin, and London, and wherever else. I'm not talking about Eastern Europe, because the Russians know exactly who is who and what is what. It's not the German people, it's not the French people, it's not the English people or whatever, British people. That's a very fucked up term, but anyway. It's not them, it's the guys that were promoted into that position, elected by being put in front of you to vote for. That's how. We voted for something that was put in front of us, but we don't want that. But we were so caged, incarcerated in our visions that between garbage and super garbage, or super garbage and perfect garbage. Which one? None of them. None of them. But who are you going to vote for? Trump or for Biden? For Bush or Gore? For McCain or Obama? None of these guys should have been over there. None of these guys should have been there. But they were. They were. And one of these imbeciles was elected each and every time. Right? Right. And then they appoint the bureaucrats, like Mr. Borrell. And they know that their doors were open and they were pushed and financed by certain kind of interests. The same ones that put the garbage, no, the super garbage and the perfect garbage in front of us to have freedom of expression and free and fair elections through machines. Man, you gotta be a baboon to believe all this crap. And a lot of them are baboons. A lot of them are baboons. Now, I think it was Albert Einstein, and I'm covered. When I say Albert Einstein, he's a guy, so I can't be attacked. I mean, I can, but I'm going to be defended by ADL in an instance. Didn't he say that 99% or 99.9% of the humankind, let's be politically correct, don't need the brain. The brain is an appendix to them. All they need is their backbone, like a vertebrate. That's all. You don't need the brain to think, because they don't use that to do things that this is meant to be used for. The all they need is, I'm gonna fuck something tonight or today. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna get in some dreams by watching TV and not be alive, being like in a drug. Use those things, and that's life. And take that from that guy, and who I'm civilized. I'm a civilized person who has the freedoms and the rights and voting and blah, 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 blah. That guy sounds like you? I don't think so. You know why? Because you're here with me. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. We're heading towards that direction. We're heading. There will be no more Ukrainians to use the weapons sent over there. Weapons will be built. Weapons will be sent. Money will be pointed, typed. Money will be printed. There's no issue with that. They have all that figured out. No problem. But they can't have too many fighters. They're going to be eliminated. So what they're going to do, they're going to activate you. The Poles, the Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Romanians, maybe the Bulgarians, and they will move little. And when that gonna hurt a little bit, the leaders, they will, let's negotiate. Now we negotiate. It's enough. Enough, it's enough. Says who? You? You decide how my life would be? Basically, that's what works in a social contract. How about we renegotiate that? No, 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 you can't do that. Why? We like it this way. You are at the receiving end. Well, some people like to be at the receiving end. I mean, half of the population should, at least, no? But anyway, you know what I mean. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just, my friends. Just be just.